Welcome, everyone. Good evening to all of you who are logged in from India. Good morning and good afternoon in case you're somewhere else in the world. And welcome to this third edition of HB Conversations, which is really a platform that we've set up for industry leaders to exchange insights and knowledge on the issues that impact their sector. This time around, we have a superb panel from the education, academic, and entrepreneurial sectors, people with years of experience being at the helm of affairs of their organizations. I'd like to welcome and introduce our distinguished panel. We're waiting for Professor Bawa to join, and he's the Chancellor of Chandigarh University, so we'll wait until he logs in. But welcome, Mr. Aman Mittal, Director, Lovely Professional University, or LPU, as it's more famously called. Ms. Aarti Noor, who's the Senior Director at CDAC. And last but definitely not the least, my colleague Sandeepan Mitra, co-founder and CEO of Hungerbox. Now, if there's one sector that has witnessed perhaps the widest possible disruption and the most impactful of all from a long-term perspective, it is the education sector. And all of us agree that the future of India is entwined with the education sector in a very intrinsic manner. Recently, our Prime Minister approved the National Education Policy 2020, making way for large-scale transformational reforms in both school and higher education sectors. And I know that, Aman, you have written about this NEP recently. This policy builds on the pillars of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability, and is aligned with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Now, interestingly, India has over 250 million school-going children, more than any other country. It also has one of the biggest networks for higher education. There are nearly 40,000 colleges in India and nearly 1,000 universities. All of this has been affected quite significantly, and technology has become the fulcrum around which learning has pivoted, right? So let's start off in a fairly broad manner. And uh, Aman, if I can get you to firstly talk about really during this time, how you've seen technology emerge as upfront and center in tackling with this situation. So if I could get your views, please.
Hi, Brian. Good evening, everyone. So, Brian, just to correct you, I mean, I know everybody's saying that no, my sector has got affected, or no, retail sector has got affected, or our finance sector has got affected. But trust me, COVID-19 has not left anyone. It is
Correct.
the one. It is the one virus which has gone into every sector and said, okay, I'm gonna corrupt you, and ensure that you see the hard times so that you learn it the best possible way. So I think COVID has taught everyone a lesson that uh, change is something which is so important. Nothing remains forever, and you should be ready for a change and adopt change. So I think that is what COVID has taught us. And of course, education sector was also deeply impacted with the COVID. That already there's so many unlock has happened. I think unlock 4.0, 5.0 is going on.
Correct.
Until now, the education sector has not opened up. So it is, we can say it is one of the deeply impacted uh, sector with respect to that. But while I say that, but it's been almost 6 months since March when the education sector has been closed, and even in Unlock 5.0, it is not opened by the government. Still, though the universities are closed, but the education has not been closed. And one of the big factor for this is the technology. I mean, this could not have been possible without technology. That when all the universities, colleges, schools, everything is closed, but all the kids are still learning. And kudos to the education sector that who took this as a challenge and said, what may be, we will not let the education go standstill. And I think LPU is is the largest university of the country in terms of students, in terms of the programs, in terms of the technology investment that we have done. And I think all this has helped us to get onto the technology ground within next 2 3 days. I mean, I remember in March when the COVID has stopped everything. Within 3 days, and I'm putting nights as well, because
Mhm.
all of us, all the leadership team and the technology team has put their days and nights to ensure that we go up within 3 days.
Right.
We had to move everything online. And while people say that, well, were you aware about COVID? No, we were not aware about COVID. But I think our advance planning to invest on the technology also helped us, because no, in the end, it's the technology which saved us. We have very invested hugely on technology. We have a huge 600-acre campus. We have spent huge money on our physical infrastructure, but at the same time, we have invested hugely on technology, and that helped us to move on to the technology platform very quickly. So while a lot of people have thought of getting into a new LMS, learning management system, and stuff like that through go online, we already had it. I mean, we didn't have to buy anything. We didn't have to go anywhere. We already had one of the best learning management system, and we just made it live within 3 days. So I think technology had played so important role to ensure that education continued. And I'm happy that good evening, Dr. Babasar, that people like Babaji and other people have joined the education sector, have joined in ensuring that education does not stop.
Great. Thanks for that. I think one of the key things that you mentioned is that how the technology investments have saved you, right? And nothing like investing ahead of the game. Professor Baba, welcome. Nice to have you join us. Yeah, I think you're on mute, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great. So we'll come back to you, sir. But I wanted to draw in Ms. Noor here, Aarti. As one of the nation's premier research institutions, CDAC has continued to display its leadership even during this pandemic. I understand that your Pune facility has continued to be operational even through this pandemic. Just 900 staff have continued to work as before. So can you share with us some of the insights on how you overcame the challenges from an operational standpoint to get the facility moving, and how technology again has come to the fore?
Yeah, you mentioned about Pune, but not only Pune, we are having 10 more centers.
Wow.
And currently one center is added at CDAC Patna.
Mhm.
So we are having 11 centers. So all centers were working. And you just believe the moment it is lockdown, and then 1 week over, it was because we are doing mostly government projects and few business projects also. So that was the thing, that you have to deliver all the things at the time, which is defined by in the project. So it was not possible for us to sit idle and just wait when it will be open and we will come back to our office and start working. So all the centers decided that use the technology and try to work wherever it is possible, whether it is home or it is in the office. So the moment it starts opening, even in total lockdown period, we full-time work from the home by using our own technology, VPN connections. Immediately we provided the hardware, software to the members, so that even if they are at the home, they can contribute. And lots of meeting. In fact, I was thinking, okay, in COVID, in normal timings is our from 9 to 5:30 or 6, but during this period we were working even more, because everybody was expecting, okay, because you are at the home, so anytime we can talk and we can discuss issues. So I was definitely working 10 to 12 and even more than 12 hours per day when during this lockdown. The moment it is started opening, then we find that how to bring the people back office, because life of people is important.
Correct.
And so there was the need to create a safe working environment to remove the fear, because always we were listening, stay at home, you are safe, stay at home, don't come outside. So we are calling people back to the office. So we have to provide the safe working environment so that you can remove the fear from the people to join back office.
Right. And how did you go about doing that, Ms. Noor?
Yeah, for this we have to think that what we need, basic things. So everything should be contactless. So we tried that our file movement should not be there, zero file movement. So everything you have to send through mail, even approval, even procurement, whatever is the thing. Then because we are large in number, so you have to also give the facility of canteen. So you have to keep the all safety measures at there also. People should come at different timings, and there should not be any contact. Even there is the payment, so it should be contactless payment. So we have a very special technology developed. CDAC is developed itself, that contactless card we have developed. So what happens that you just show your card and the amount will be deducted from your account for the canteen. So even there is no contact or touch over there. Timings we have changed for our office. We tell, okay, it should be flexi timing. So we can start from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening. So all pupils are not coming at the same time. So this type of measures we have taken. A lot of discussion should be through group. People should not meet. And other thing was that because people are sitting in the cubicles and in the simple row type alignments also. So that was the thing, how to keep the social distancing. So just make the rosters. So few people are coming one day, other people are coming the second day. So all these we manage through our online methods. And it was the notices going to the people, okay, your roster is like this, you have to come at that time, you have to do like this work. So like that we manage all the things. And this was for project, but at the same time we are also having a big education part over here.
Correct.
So for that we immediately go for online teaching.
Yeah.
So the teaching online, assignment online, exam online, and towards end you will be happy to see that we are doing placement online.
Oh,
so no student coming to our office. The major challenge was us for the students from electronics background, because we are having the laboratory licensed tool. For example, like VLSI we are running, embedded system we are running, so they have to use the hardware also.
Got it.
For that, what we can do.
Sure.
So
Got it.
we, for the only simulation or synthesis purpose, again, we have given the VPN connection to our students. We have given make the slots so they can run their labs on the systems. So basically, they are connected to our lab. For embedded system, what we do, we make the videos step by step how to perform the experiment, because many kits are very cheaper, so a student can also purchase Raspberry Pi and others. So we make the videos for them.
Yeah, sure. Great. I think that's great. I think you tackled both the operational aspects in actually running a facility as well as in how the educational outcomes are not compromised or the mitigation is being done. I just want to bring in sorry.
We developed some products also during this COVID. NADI, NAADI, we call National Analytic Platform for dealing with intelligent tracking. For COVID, we developed this. We developed for our all centers contactless sanitizer dispensers. So that type of products we also developed.
Great. Okay, sure. I just want to bring in Professor Bava here. Sir, you've spent a lifetime in education, and you've obviously seen the transition. You've seen how technology has been a disruptor. Can you talk a little bit about what are some of the SOPs being issued by the government, and some clarity on when you see a reopening taking place, and therefore how Chandigarh University, I know that you're already a pioneering institution with so much e-governance in place and technology enablement. But how do you see the reopenings taking place, and what is the student sentiment and what is the parent sentiment? If you can comment on that, please.
Well, I think first and the foremost thing is I would like to share what we are doing with technology.
Sure.
That's very important.
Absolutely.
Right from the beginning, actually, from 2012 itself, we are a totally technology integrated university. As soon as a student registers, he or she doesn't have to go anywhere. Everything is integrated, right from the registration to payment of fees to their examination. And we are a university where no examination forms are submitted by student. No admit cards are issued. No hall tickets are issued. All results, everything, even DMCs are sent online. A student can print their DMC as and when they want, even the degrees. The only thing is on the DMC printed, it will come, it's a copy. The original one we issue, to them. So it's a totally technology. See, technology, what I'm saying is that this COVID situation has only hastened the use of technology. Some of the institutions, I'm sure Lovely was doing, others were also doing. So technology was already there. And in my university, what we were doing, we were making all the teaching material that a teacher uses in the class available to the student online already. And this we started doing in 2013. But most important is that this was being done through an ERP solution developed by the university in-house. Till now, we were not using any software for teaching learning. It was all developed in-house. That's our strength. Only recently we have acquired Blackboard. Because of the situation, we thought we need a lot of features which we were thinking that our UIMS was not providing immediately. We'll have to find a solution. So we have purchased that. Otherwise, everything that the student does, we even provide them e-resources through our own portal. We have an e-repository library. Teachers download it and make it available. Now, coming to the opening of the campus. Opening of the campus, I think what's important is that what kind of student mix you have got.
Right.
So again, I'm very happy to share with you that I have students from all 29 states, 28 states now, and all 9 UTs, and 47 foreign countries. Majority of them have gone to their places since March. I have a couple of hundred foreigners who couldn't go. They are still staying on my campus. A couple of South India students also staying on the campus, which we are managing. We are taking care of their safety and security and sanitization. Now, what is important is it's not only the government decision to allow the campuses to open. Again, it's not the central government, the state government when it takes a decision, depending on the ground reality. But I think more important is when the transportation will be available. Safe and secure travel from their home places, from Trivandrum, from Northeast, from any place, Kashmir, any place. So coming to the university when it is feasible, only then we can think of opening the campus. Nevertheless, what I have a model, I'll be very happy to share with you the model that we have created. There will be, of course, a guideline for the student that we have a handbook for everything on the campus. We create manuals. So a manual for safety and security along with sanitization and social distancing and whatever. We are also creating our own software, which will be taking care of their distancing and all those kind of things. More important, I believe that in this era, post-COVID, I'm saying the COVID will continue, but post-COVID opening of the university, I think 3 things are important. The first is flexibility. You will have to come out with flexible models, and I'll share with you what we are doing. The second is technology. We already are doing, but technology, again, within technology, you'll have to use a lot of innovation. So the third is innovation. Innovation in pedagogy, innovation in use of technology, innovation in conduct of classes, and so on. And coupled with flexibility. Now, flexibility, what we're thinking is that we will not have all these students on the campus at the same time. Number one. So we can have buses because a lot of students come through our own buses. So buses will come at 2 different times. So one time from say 8:30 to 1:30 or so. The second from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock or 6:30. Second thing, hostels will not be allowed to mix with the day scholars.
Got it.
Which is very, very important. So they will have different timings. And third thing, not all the students will sit in the class at the same time.
Right.
So we'll have at least 50% reduction in the class strength at a single time. And fourth thing is that we will give the choice to the students not to be present in the class for all the classes. They can sit outside, they can sit in the library. Lectures are being beamed. Right now we are doing, so that will be available. And the fifth thing, I think, we'll have to give flexibility to the parents till they are sure they may like to continue their wards to study from home. And again, I'm very happy that we were able to conduct our exam. Perhaps we were first university in the country to conduct our final year exams in June itself. And we declared all the result by 30th June. Every student, and a lot of placements had taken place. They have joined, they have been provided with their results and everything. And even other classes, other semesters and reappears and everything was over by July.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So all these things were possible because, as you were saying, technology with a judicious dose of, I would say, sanctity of the system and proper training of the faculty. We spent, I would like to share with all my friends here, lot of effort on training of the faculty, lot of effort on training of the students.
Interesting.
Because unless they are familiar and they accept the technology,
correct.
I think we'll be failing in our duty.
I'm going to stop you there and bring in that aspect later. In terms of behavioral changes that we need to each person needs to adapt. I want to bring in Sandeepan here. So Sandeepan, I think Professor Baba has very effectively laid out a model, and Aman and Aarti also talked a little bit about, I think, the challenges that they are seeing, how they have addressed some of those challenges, but the model of pedagogy, the technology, the flexibility, what can the education sector learn from some of the sectors that have opened previously, like the corporate sector that has opened? What are some of the examples that they can learn from so that their transition is smooth and safe and efficient?
Sure. So hi everyone. Let me start with something little ironical, right? So although we have been people who have always looked at technology disrupting sectors, right? And edutech sector as a sector has kind of come into its own over the last 3 odd months, right? With a lot of investment getting into this sector. My understanding is that there is this institution of schools and colleges and universities, even daycares, right? And they exist in society for a reason, right? And I don't think that any edutech app can replace what these institutions do to individuals, right? So for example, I keep telling our team, so we don't send our daughter to learn, for example, Pythagoras theorem in school or college, right? We send them for overall personality development that comes through meeting, working with your people of your age group, getting inspired by the professors and teachers, some of whom are there on the panel, getting inspiration, getting having a life goal developed through all that. So these institutions in their physical form have a great importance in our society, and I'm sure a virus attack would not take that away, right? And that we will all be back to our schools and colleges. As a parent, we are very, very, very eager to have our daughter go back to her school, right? And so is she, right? So that's number one. Number two is now that we decide that these institutions will eventually now slowly open up. The 15th October deadline of opening movie theaters is another step ahead, and then we are looking at the education sector. It's just a matter of time for it to open up, right? So what would happen there, right? And the greatest learning for us over the last 6 months has been working very closely with the manufacturing sector, right? And as you all are aware that during the entire pandemic, as ma'am mentioned, CDAC was functional. Like was manufacturing sector with 80% attendance, right? And this is national data. 80% were coming in. Not that they did not have their slice of challenges and escalations that happened, but then they stuck to it and they said that, we will, no matter what, we will power through this, treacherous times, right? And there are a lot of learnings that we got from the manufacturing sector, supporting them through technology, right? The biggest learning, just for me to summarize, the biggest learning was to be part of the employee's complete journey, right? So what we worked with some of the most established large manufacturing companies in the country was on projects like, from the time the employee sits in the office bus to come to the factory, right?
Correct.
So tech intervention starts from there, right? So him booking his slot in the bus not getting overcrowded, him finding a safe space in the bus, to him arriving there, and then every shared accommodation that individual uses, how do we optimize that? That person has to book that, and only if available does he get entry into that, etc. So his entire journey, and then obviously the canteen, going there, having his food. How do we ensure that there is no overcrowding in the canteen premises, etc. So his entire journey was digitally mapped, and digital interventions were put in place to make it safe, right? And what is required across our country is that we cannot keep our institutions shut forever, right? There is to be someday we have to open them, right? And we have to brace this new change, and this this can be solved through tech interventions, and we are so happy and so proud that we have been able to help a lot of large brands, a lot of large companies solve this digitally. The same thing we have done for the education sector, right? Again, starting from mapping every shared asset that a student uses, right? Starting from obviously the college canteen, then the lecture room, the library, even the sports facility, every shared space that is used. How do we do pre-booking of that? How do we ensure that not more than 50% of them are allowed entry into those spaces? And it is the entire student crowd is controlled and managed. And there are reports generated which are published so that everyone is aware. There is social distancing through Bluetooth, through camera feeds, through RF. All of that we launched. That helps you centrally track what every student is doing, how many social distancing norms were broken by a particular individual, so that he can be picked up and taken to task if he's a frequent offender. So the entire journey has been mapped and digitally put in place. So we have worked with very prestigious universities bringing about this technology. And I know every university, every school, college has their own in-house teams and a lot of people thinking about it, right? But for us, it's the ability of being able to bring in the best of all the worlds and give that as a holistic solution, which is learnings from everywhere, right? Put into one singular platform, and being a specialized technology company, and that's what we do. We are able to solve that, right?
Got it.
So that's on the technology intervention. And the last point I want to add is on the entire F&B in the campuses itself, right? So the irony of life is that when I look back and cherish the memories of my college days and my school days, it's the college cafeteria that I remember the most. more than my classrooms, I remember my cafeteria and all the fun we had there, right? But ironically, as much I remember the cafeteria for fond memories of my fellow students there, I'm repelled by the food that we used to be served there, right? And I have not so fond memories of the food there, right? We had issues of food fatigue, same food being served, day in and day out, nothing new, no one looking at this, no one trying to address what do I want to see. As Sir mentioned, students from all over the country, 28 states, different taste buds, different requirements of food, but you have the same kind of food being served in the cafeterias of the universities. That kind of a food fatigue needs to be broken, right? And with tech intervention, with all this, we can address fundamental challenges of F&B in the education sector and kind of reform that. And I think the time for that has arrived. And we are very happy to be one of those companies that are helping universities kind of, break this chasm altogether.
Got it. Sure. Thanks for the Sandeepan. Aman, I want to bring you in here. Your university is literally a micro city in itself, right? What are your thoughts on the sort of phases like Professor Baba mentioned? How are you planning to open it up?
So, Brian, I mean, the thought would not be too different from what Dr. Baba has mentioned. But Sandeepan, I can tell you, we also have worked on a lot of technologies, including one of the interesting device which our students and researchers have developed to ensure there's social distancing being maintained. It's called Kavach. We should definitely tie up to take this projects to the other universities and sell this solution to the universities and the corporates. We are already commercializing it. So we have already worked on a lot of technologies within the universities through our researchers, through our innovative students. We are a very engineering heavy university, while there are a lot of other areas like management, art, animation, journalism, a lot of other areas, pharmacy, physiotherapy. So all the teams have come together and collaboratively have created some 10, 15, 20, more than that actually, solutions just to fight COVID. I mean, I don't know if you know about it. We have $1 million fund available for the people who want to work on the COVID technology. And mainly this fund is available to our students and faculty members to work on a COVID technology.
Sure.
So while I say this, that we are working on technology, at the same time, we are working on a blueprint while taking the inputs from the best of the people in the world who understand the problem really well, and just not finding a quick fix solutions. I mean, actually, it has to be a foolproof solutions. I mean, and we cannot really understand it that well. I mean, China has gone through it. US is going through it. So a lot of the South Korea has gone through it and has come out of it very nicely. So we have taken the best of the inputs from the top of the players from these countries and have creating a blueprint that how we can ensure that students who decide to come to Lovely Professional University stay 100% safe. I mean, they can just walk into the campus and the parents can think that, okay, I'm sending my kid to LPU. I don't need to be worried about, because LPU has created a nice plan, a right plan for our students to come in. So telling you the answers, I mean, do you have a real plan? I mean, we are really having a fantastic plan, because in the end, I want to be so sure that if it's my son or daughter studying in Lovely Professional University, if I would be comfortable enough to send my kid there without even worrying about his health or her health in the university campus. So I'm at least at the leadership team, we are thinking with that perspective, and we are not leaving any stone unturned. And definitely, as you said, that with this blueprint in mind, we will not be opening everything in one go. It's a strategy of unveiling things little by bit and bit of cautious steps that we're taking, because we need to understand that we're dealing with youth 18 plus years of age. Many of them were in the first year. I mean, we have thousands of students who have joined us in the first year from all across the world, all across the country, and and they have been locked down for the last 7, 8 months. So once they come up, and they would be like high energy and high five and hugging and all of them, and you want to be sure that everything is still maintained in a very, I mean, though we would love to see that energy back in the campus, but the safety has to be ensured. So we are dealing with that youth. So we are keeping, and we have worked with the top people in China and US and South Korea to see that what was their learnings, and we are making the plan around that.
Got it. Sure.
We would have, I would have loved to share it right now, but because of a lot of copyright issues, I won't be able to discuss much on this platform. But I think right now the universities will open up, as you rightly said, as Sandeepan mentioned, that in the end, education is just not, I mean, universities are not about providing education or knowledge. It's more about the personality, about the character building. That will happen once the university open, and I'm sure the good universities like LPU, I'm sure other universities will also plan in a rightful way, and we would be very happy to share our blueprint with all the university fraternity
Sure.
that share with us. I mean, we are under some
Sure. I think
lockdown, but I'm sure we would be very happy to share all that details.
great. Thanks, Aman. Ms. Noor, since you all have been operational or functional for some time now, I think the other speakers also briefly alluded to the human behavioral challenges of managing in the new environment. What are your thoughts there? I mean, what are your employees, what are your students displaying in terms of behavior, and what are you all doing to address those aspects? You're on mute, madam. You'll need to unmute yourself. You'll need to unmute yourself. Go ahead.
So from a student perspective, if we see that we cannot keep the student away from the laboratory and class for a very long time, because this will totally change their behavior if we are telling that our teaching should be totally online.
Yeah, it's not practical
It
at
is
all.
not.
Yeah.
It is not practical.
Yeah.
So still during this COVID, we are seeing that many times students they are not able to understand what you are teaching, because eye contact is not there. We are not able to see the face of the students. So we are not able to see that how attentive the students are there. So what is my belief that it should be blended. Definitely, we are not able to call all the students for full time, but it has to be sometime blended type of that teaching. So some portion online, some portion experiment, because not only you are giving the knowledge to them, you are teaching also behavior, you are teaching soft skills also, you are preparing them for good human being also. So all these things is possible. I am 100% agree with Sandeepan, because he was telling that it is necessary. If you are not giving this thing to the student, definitely they will be a totally different person later.
Correct.
So that is my belief, that it should be blended. But of course, whatever you can provide with the help of technology, you should make available to the students. So at CDAC, we are working on many aspects. Psychological is one part, but technical is also that. We are working on many parts on that, how to provide the OLab. So they are not depending only on duration of the lab, which is available in the campus. So they can work off campus also. Many other
actually, Ms. Noor, sorry to interrupt. My question was really around, the behavioral challenges. While, for example, they show resistance to, are they showing resistance to maintaining social distancing, or are they struggling to figure out what is a good social distance to maintain? Are those some of the practical challenges of managing a workforce on campus?
Yeah, that will be a big challenge, because at least in our side, CDEC side, I can see that we are doing the after graduation students are coming. So they are not a small child.
Correct.
It is very difficult to control a small child, but because they are coming after graduation, so definitely this problem will be there, but we have to handle all the students by telling that what are the problems you are going to face later stage.
Yeah.
So social distancing, in terms of social distancing and other, I'm thinking that we have to again call the students in the batches. We cannot call all the students at one time. And then we have to teach them that how to behave if you are finding somebody which is nearer to you, because you are not only keeping the safety for yourself, you have to secure the other person, to keep the other person safe. So that type of challenges, I think we are going to face once our student will be over here.
Got it.
Because they will meet, they will meet in the canteen also.
Of course.
They will sit together, and to keep eye on them, it is definitely a big challenge. And then to change their behavior, for that during this situation, how to behave. That is definitely a big challenge before us.
Got it. Yeah. So just a question for all three speakers, and of course Sandeepan can add. From a F&B perspective, what are some of the challenges that you see within the F&B environment? What are the top three challenges? Is it food fatigue? What else? What else is there?
Social is there, loneliness they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is the biggest they feel. They are not socializing the life. So that is the problem. Maybe student or whatever. All people are having, maximum people are having this type of challenge.
Right. I think on the food front, I don't think so. I mean, the biggest challenge, I mean, you're mentioning about food fatigue, but I think all the universities are now realizing that no, food fatigue is not something which you can let it grow. So I think the menu changes is not a very big challenge, because no, the universities understand the youth very well now. The food fatigue is at least not a challenge, and to ensure that no, it's not the same boring food and the quality is maintained. At least at LPU, all the leadership team ensures that the lunch and the dinner, I mean, there are a lot of faculty members here in the campus, at least even my lunch comes from the mess. So, and the same food what the students are eating. So ensure that the quality and the taste also is being taken care of. But I think the biggest challenge would be definitely that how to ensure that the social distancing and cleanliness of the utensils and everything has been done properly. And I think there a lot of investment has, I mean, we have recently, over the last 5-7 years, have done a lot of investment on the cleaning tools for the utensils. And we also have our own roti making machines where then it's a touchless machines for making chapatis have been done. So I think, and the sanitization and washing, the hand wash areas have to increase. So we are doing that. So I think there's a lot of work which will go in F&B. And of course, the people like Hungerbox, I mean, which we also think is a opportunity. We already have a contactless card where you can just swipe and use for the access control. And
sorry, you said a contactless card. Yeah.
So we already have that, but I think now it's a good time that we can work with the people like Hungerbox to ensure that how we can integrate with all our kiosks. I mean, we have 300 plus kiosks around the university. We can integrate with our own various vendors, so that though it is already a contactless payment in all our mess and canteens, but there are a lot of kiosks where we can take help of players like Hungerbox to ensure it could be further be more contactless with respect to the payment and other things. So I think again, technology is going to be the key role.
Sure. I've got a couple of very interesting questions from Nusrat Ayaz, who asks, and this is, I think Professor Baba can...
Do I have time to say something?
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I thought I am not participating.
No.
No, please. Not asking. You see, the biggest challenge is to understand the psychology of the student. Whatever you are talking is all theoretical. How the students are going to behave when they come to the campus.
Right.
How you are going to manage your hostels. How can you put all the students in the hostel? And there are, you see, technology per se. Technology for what? Can you use technology in stopping a student from meeting another student? So the question is how you are going to manage. And some models already existed.
Correct.
In managing our hostel, we have a central kitchen where total quality management is there, automated things are there. And it is not at every hostel that you have to manage quality and you have to see what is happening there. So centralized things are already there and you manage quality. And the most important challenge will be that how can you stop students from going to the canteen? Single canteen, you will have to arrange canteens and tuck shops and other things building wise. I mean, talking about a small university with 2,000 students, 3,000 students is something different. But I'm sure Amanji will appreciate a university like mine and his and a couple of other universities with students more than 25,000 or so. All these things are theoretical.
Yes, sir.
You can stop. I mean, you can invite students. How can you say that please don't come to the campus? It is their choice. Either you allow them or you don't allow them. And once they come to the campus, how you're going to manage? And what we have planned is even their paths will not cross. So
Right.
a student coming from the hostel, you will have to even work out with the help of the technology and with the help of your own planning. I am even thinking of giving different students different colored iCards so that I
Right.
can identify where a student is going.
Hmm.
Technology, managing 25,000 students through technology, I'm sure is a myth. That you can know a student is going to meet 10 students and there'll be a central place where you can monitor all this. All these are theoretical
Absolutely.
things.
Sure.
All these are theoretical things.
Yeah.
So the practical thing is, first I will have to convince the students that their safety and security is of paramount importance.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We have to bring them on board. All stakeholders have to be taken into confidence. I'm telling you, we have invited, I don't know what is Aman doing, but in our university, we have allowed faculty to come to the campus. So we have 50% faculty coming to the campus, about 900, 800 faculty coming to the campus. Even managing that faculty is a big challenge.
Correct.
We have to provide them their facilities at their place so that they don't have to mix up too much. So
Right.
these are going to be practical challenges. And like you are saying, yes, universities are not meant only to tell them ABC or a couple of theorems or whatever. Even getting job is not the only thing that a university does. It creates great human beings. It creates well-rounded persons. So all these things are there. So therefore, they have to come to the campus. But I'm afraid I will not accept this that, okay, it's going to be very soon done and everybody will be on campus. So I'm sorry, it will not be possible.
Sure.
And you will have to come out, everybody will have to come out with his own model to manage your students and how you're going to come out with the different. That's why I use the word, you will have to innovate with everything.
Correct.
Even with the
Yeah.
different.
Sure. No, in fact,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, no, most welcome. No, in fact, I think you bring up a very valid point, and in fact, it ties to one of the questions: how do we involve students during these crises to innovate solutions? So that's you've got to have students on board. You've got to have people who will cooperate, who see the efficiency and the validity of what you're proposing. So, Professor Bava, do you want to take a shot at this question? How do you involve students to be part of the solution?
Well, I think students are the most important component to find a part of the solution. Students will have to be taken into confidence. And like Aman is saying, students are already working on a number of technologies and solutions. They are finding out. In fact, all universities must be doing, and my university is no different. They are coming out with some apps and other things which we'll be using, but that's just one part. The most important part is that we'll have to take the students into confidence. And like we are doing already, we have students in all our academic bodies. We have in Board of Studies, we have in Academic Council, we have in the highest bodies, and we have even hostel discipline committees. They are being managed by the students only. So I think we'll have to involve the students in a big way. A model will have to come up. As I said, my practical model is that we'll have to first look at the total scenario. Right. Yes, as Aman is saying, we'll have to only partially allow students to come to the campus, invite them on the campus. But the whole thing depends, unless the students are convinced for two things. Number one, that their safety and security is their concern also as much my concern and their parents' concern. And the second thing, most important, is that they will have to continue with their studies and work, but at the same time, contribute to the overall functioning of the university. I am again, very skeptical how many parents will send their children, even if you allow them. Child may like to come, the parents may not like to send their children to the universities. It's going to be the biggest challenge. See, like you were asking, have you surveyed? We asked the parent. Parents says, sorry, we can't say anything at the moment. We'll have to watch the situation. If a student has to come by train from Uttar Pradesh or from Madhya Pradesh or from Rajasthan or by bus, they say we'll have to see whether we are sure that my child will be safe and secure there. Only then we will send, otherwise we will not send the child. So there will be a lot of issues, but I agree with you. Students will have to play a very, very important role because they are the most important stakeholders. I very strongly believe that we are here because of them and for them only. If there are no students, I'm sure we have no business to be here. So there's no question about that. And they are the stakeholders. They are our asset, and they are the ones who have to be taken care of the most. And they are the ones who will actually ultimately be the biggest participants and solution givers in this situation.
Great. Yeah. Thank you for that. There's another question here. I think this is for Sandeepan. How do you ensure that food is not only tasty but also healthy? I mean, especially in this current context where immunization, immunity boosting foods are being prioritized. You just want to add some perspective there? You're on mute, Sandeepan.
Sorry. Yeah. So there are essentially, three large, buckets on which we are working, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is on the entire food aspect itself, right? So what we have done, we have launched a series of vending machines. So one of the features in the vending machine is that before, dispensing any food from the machine, it UV sterilizes the food and,
Right.
then only dispenses it. And the entire interaction with the vending machine is contactless, right? So you're doing it on an app. Even the dispensing, the dispenser opens automatically, so you're not touching the machine at any point of time, right? So the entire automation and the entire contactless, touchless kind of an experience across the entire experience, right, is being put in, right? So that's on the food safety part of it. Then comes on the personals, right? How do we ensure that they are kind of being tested before they start their day? So what we have done, and these are all tech based, right? So you kind of do a temperature test. You do all your kind of the thermal scanning, etc., and you upload that, and then only can you start your day session, right? Otherwise you cannot come to work or mark your attendance. Right? So those interventions on the personal front we have been able to introduce, right? And on the third bit is on the entire interaction of the students. How do they enter? How do they exit? While in the cafeteria, how do they kind of maintain social distancing? So we have put tech interventions across, right? So we have put interventions like you have a QR code that gets generated only when your food is ready. So you only enter the cafeteria when your food is ready. And there are slots available in the cafeteria. You scan at the entrance door. That's only when the door opens. You get in, scan, collect your food, consume it, and then leave, and then scan at leaving, so that the next student is allowed in, right? So that way we're able to do crowd control in the cafeteria and all that. And all this is something that we have implemented, right? So the biggest learning or the entire learning curve has been shortened, because all these technology interventions we kind of launched it in 45 days since lockdown got announced, and since then it has been live at multiple similar locations, right, being used by people today, right? So there are a lot of learning that has again gone back into the product to make it user friendly, practical aspects. We had the social distancing. Just to give a quick example, the social distancing one kept beeping, right? Even if there is a 5 second, if I just walk past you, then we got a learning, and we said that no, only when we are 15 seconds go past and I'm still not being apart from you, that's when the thing should beep or make the intervention. So such learnings came in. Right. And now that we are implementing this for a lot of universities, as Aman mentioned, we would love to explore what they have done, what the students have done with, things like Kavach and all that, and kind of integrate that into the platform, right? He gives me Kavach, I give the food, right? So we are able to holistically solve this challenge. But I'm totally convinced that, having seen success in the manufacturing sector, in BFSI, in a lot of KPOs, BPOs, where we have implemented all this, these learnings can be, put in the education sector successfully, and we can restart these institutions.
Got it. I think we have time for just one last question. I think this is, what is the workload impact on the faculty and other staff? Any of you all want to take this question?
So Brian, I mean, I think, Babaji, you can go ahead. Babaji, you can go ahead.
This has actually facilitated in expanding the horizon of the faculty. In many universities and many institutions and in the mind of many faculty, it was that their job is to teach.
Right.
Only take a couple of classes and prepare their lectures and all that. But I think they've got an opportunity. It was a challenge and opportunity both. So a lot of research has come out during this period. A lot of innovation has taken place. People have gone in for patenting. We even, as a university, I'm sure Aman will also be doing the same thing. Special incentives for doing outstanding work. Some students getting, some faculty getting 1.25 of their salary during this period because they were doing some outstanding work. And also getting them involved in academic administration.
Right.
Not that clerical work, but in planning and strategic works of the university. Similarly, the non-teaching staff, wherever it was required, of course, there it is more difficult, more challenging to give them alternative work.
Right.
But then I think a lot of innovation came around there also. Some new thinking, some new areas, some improvisations. But faculty, I think, has been most productive during this period. A lot of new things faculty also explored themselves, and they themselves started finding out, okay, yes, these are the areas which we have been ignoring and we were not able to really contribute to. So in a way, I think, yes, and then they spend some time on thinking about new pedagogy, doing some changes and innovations in pedagogy. A lot of effort went into creating new teaching materials, also creating MOOCs of the university on its own. So we are in that process. So I'm sure it's going to be quite productive without any negative effect on the faculty.
Brian, I just want to add one thing because whatever Babaji has said, I just want to say that everything is great, and I want to thank the faculty community at this moment, because I know whatever Babaji has mentioned means, please see the kind of energy the faculty is putting in. And there's a series of things that Babaji has counted, that faculty is doing this and that and that and that and that. So I want to take this opportunity to thank the faculty at all the universities, and especially at LPU, who have done so well in ensuring that during this time, when they have their kids at their home, when they have their wives watching them, or the husband watching them, they were still able to deliver a lot. So kudos to the faculty, and thank you for all the faculty. If there are faculty members as participants speaking, listening to it, so thank you for being in this journey, which was difficult for all of us, but you kept all of us going. So I want to thank faculty, because it was the question about faculty. I want to thank them.
Yeah, thank you, Aman. I just want to invite Aarti to share her thoughts.
I would like to add one more thing, that this was also the time for faculties to learn new technology, because they have to make their teaching effective by doing this online. So it was a big challenge before the faculty, that how to give or how to transform their views to the students in a better way, because this was the challenging part. So they have learned a lot of new technology, that creating the board themselves, how to create the board if they want to teach, because students are not in the class. Then if you are giving the assignment, how to give and take back and check it. So in that they have learned many new technology, and definitely this was very, very tedious for technology for faculties, when you tell that use this new technology and make your videos and make your e-content, because every faculty is not familiar with them, how to do this. So that was the big challenge before them, but really they put so much hard work, they learn and they deliver. So definitely hats on to them.
Thank you. I think unanimously everyone agrees that the faculty has done a fantastic job. I think faculty, teachers of educational institutions deserve kudos at this time. So I think we're out of time. If there are any final thoughts, Sandeepan, if I can just get you to add. Otherwise, I'll do a quick summary and we should be able to wrap up.
Now, so, we see a great revolution, right? Especially when it comes to F&B in the education sector. We see a great opportunity of a big revolution happening over the next 2 to 3 years, which are, based on these three pillars of food safety and compliances, on automation, and on choices, variety, and fighting the entire issue of food fatigue. Right. So these three pillars, I think, will kind of explode over the next few years, and this is a great opportunity that we all should need to grab and kind of revolutionize F&B in the education sector.
Great, thank you. So I think just to wrap up, clearly we started off by talking about the testing times for the education sector. I think all of us agree it's been testing times, but I think everybody has pulled together and arrived at this point where we are actually more confident of the future than we've been feeling over the last few months. I also want to dwell on this fact that for the sector to move forward, for safety, for efficiency to be maintained, one critical point that the panelists brought up was also to involve everyone, and they need to feel self-invested in being part of the solution rather than having a solution thrust down on them. Absolutely. Technology is an enabler, but ultimately technology has to work for the people, right? And you had examples of technology being developed by the people. I think some of you all talked about some great technology solutions. But I think it's really making sure that everyone works together, feels invested, use the examples of people who have been there, done that, used examples of learnings from the corporate sector that has opened to really arrive at a place where we are much more confident about the future, and looking forward to being in touch with all of you. Thank you so much, Professor Bava, for joining. Thank you, Aarti. Thank you, Aman. Thank you, Sandeepan. And thank you all the participants.
Thank you, Brian.
The best to all of you.
Thank you, Sandeep. And thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Very nice.
Thank you, Babaji.
Thank you, all of you. Wonderful. Great.
Thank you, Aarti.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. All the
Bye.
best.
Good.